Good work from TLO, doing a lot of damage there. He needs to get his Marines out of here, though. There's a lot. Running the medevac over the gap. Good job from TLO just getting out of there. And it looks like Happy's getting ready to take his gold. So we got mass siege tanks being built from TLO right now. Would like to see a bunch of reactors going down on these barracks, because if you look at his mineral count, it's at 500 right now versus 100 gas. So it would be great to see just a bunch of reactors going down. And it looks like TLO is getting ready for a pretty beastly drop. We got 2 medevacs completely loaded up with siege tanks, and we got a lot of Marines. So right now we're going to have a 5 siege tank drop with, it looks like, I want to say 20 Marines. So that's a pretty beastly force for a drop. Fortunately, there are so many turrets spread around this base that there's no way TLO is going to be able to do the drop at all. Which would have been awesome to see. This is a huge drop. Look how many turrets we have here, though. The amount of damage they'll do, like, he won't be able to get half his units off. TLO sees this, though, and looks like he's just gonna load up drop his forces out here. That's not good. Lots of siege tanks in positions there. Plenty of Marines and more siege tanks over here. Food counting station is 153 for TLO, 160 for Happy. So this is not looking good for Happy. TLO's got quite a lead. Stemming, running forward, taking out the siege tank as best as possible. And then TLO's bringing this drop around. He sacrificed this portion of the army, did a good amount of damage just to do a flank attack on Happy. And then here comes the drop. TLO immediately sieging up. It's hard to say who will come up on top of this. We have the Happy SCVs being pulled, and TLO definitely got destroyed there. Way too many siege tanks. Happy stemmed in just in time, got there before the siege tanks, TLO siege tanks were sieged. And TLO's denying this expansion, picking off those siege tanks. Very nice job there. It looks like TLO's going to contain them. 119 food to 87. TLO's building 2 orbital commands right now, double expanding while stopping this one. Happy needs to pull back. He's pushing forward with the SCV siege tanks right now. Focus firing down his siege tanks and forcing TLO out of his base. Good job. People don't seem to realize how good unsieged siege tanks are. They can, you know, push a siege tank line pretty hard. Planetary forces going down for Happy. TLO getting ready to expand here, probably moving one of the orbitals there, which is great. We're going to see an expansion here as well, so TLO taking his economic lead and pushing it even harder by double expanding without a planetary fortress, getting that extra orbital command for the mules. We'd like to see this rock taken out so TLO can reinforce his army. A lot of players seem to always forget this rock. You need to always take out this rock, because if he attacks from over here, how are you going to get over here? You're going to just drop into your... No, you don't have time for that. You need to have this rock destroyed. Siege tanks are just barely in range of each other. Both players losing a siege tank, but Happy took a lot more damage there than TLO did. Gold is ready. I'd like to see a transfer of SCV soon. We need to get a whole bunch of these over there. Whole bunch of these over there. Come on, SCV transfer TLO. SCV transfer TLO. What are you doing? Back to TLO's base. Still no reactors on these barracks. You're just pumping out one at a time. SCV transfer finally being done. Both players aren't really building more production facilities. They're just, you know, building their army as best as possible, both constantly producing siege tanks and Marines. Good siege tank drop there from TLO. Happy did send a mule on it so they would do splash damage to himself, but he's taken off as best as possible. And it looks like we're getting a siege tanks on the back of his army, but TLO just getting devoured by all the siege tanks and the planetary fortress. But right now he's denying mining here. Siege tanks down here, siege tanks up here, just taking out all these SCVs. It looks like Happy's going to be losing his planetary fortress. He's got no more SCVs here, and he's not trying to stop these siege tanks. And then happy GGs. What a game. Even with all of TLO's blunders, as you saw, where, you know, the extra guys on gas, you know, having unspent, you know, minerals for such a long time, he did a great job. Just shows how great of a player he is. In Tab 59 Harvesters versus 37, he's got 2 expansions going. I mean, what a great game. So make sure you guys subscribe, and yeah, I'm Zoya. See you guys next time.